I'm Kyra Schaefer. I'm going to be channeling for you. And today we're channeling the KuanYin consciousness, the KuanYin collective. And I asked her for a title for today, but instead she gave me a series. And the series is Emerging Consciousness. And what she was directing me to and guiding me to connect with you around this was that's true. You have an emerging consciousness right now. Something is coming up in you, and it's starting to advance you spiritually and emotionally. And there can be some things that happen in that process. So we are kind of coming together today to lend energy to what you are experiencing. And so if you are listening to this message is for you. You may get that message in the first 5 minutes. You may get that message in the last moment. You may get it a month from now. And then you start the program, when we do our live stream next month at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month. And you might be like, oh, that made sense. So I am not constrained to time or space when it comes to that. You're going to get there when you get there. And if it makes sense to you, it will just flow naturally in whatever way feels best. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and call her into the space here. And I wear a crown. This is more for me than probably anyone, but it is really fun. So please settle in, get comfortable. I am KuanYin. The toast this morning was very lovely. We do appreciate that greatly from this channeler. Those who are listening to the recording later will have no idea what we're speaking about, and that's okay. And so as we move forward today and connect in these ideas, in these understandings, as you are getting clearer and beginning to process the understanding of who you truly are in this life, and you are learning about your consciousness in new ways, and you are setting up experiences for yourself, even in a present moment situation. There's an understanding that before you came into this embodiment, that you were in fact wanting to have a series of experiences. And so there were some experiences that have already been set in stone, and then some experiences are cultivated from the now moment time frame. And so sometimes things have been set up for you, and you get to choose your own adventure. And then other times there are experiences that have not yet been set up. And so you have chosen an adventure, and you've chosen to move your vibrational understanding in one direction. And then you choose then again to go in a totally different direction. And that is completely wonderful. That is what it's all about. It's the variety. It's coming into the experience and saying, I want a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and I want all of the things to come to me naturally and easily. And I like knowing that these things are coming in a way that feel effortless to me. And I like knowing that as these things come to me in these ways, that effortlessness is something that is contributing to only my good and only the expansion of the universe. And so some of these things may be new concepts or ideas to you. Other times these concepts and ideas and language and wording may be unfamiliar. But if it is unfamiliar to you, just know a few basic facts. Only love is real. Everything else is counterfeit. It's not real. It doesn't exist. It's simply something that's leading you to realize who you really are. And that way, in that sense, we are very grateful for the different vibrations that are offered in your life. We would not want it any other way. We want you to experience this life in whatever way feels best to you in the moment. And sometimes those difficult experiences that you have are actually designed specifically for your discomfort. Isn't that a wonderful idea? Oh, KuanYin is very, very disheartened sometimes by this truth, this understanding, because she is learning that those experiences that are different or difficult are in a vibration that she doesn't like being in, even though they're asking her to choose new things and new ways. She likes knowing, and is sometimes disheartened by it, but she likes knowing that ultimately all of these things are for her good. So if there is something that you are working on in your current experience, it is there perfectly perfect. It is there for you. It is there meant for you. It is there meant for you to create an understanding and a knowing that will carry with you beyond this physical lifetime. And so there are a few truths, as I said, but that primary one there, only love is real. And this is something that has been said many times, but it's something that's very difficult to grasp onto because there is great confusion around the word love. So as your consciousness is emerging and it's coming forward and it's coming out and it's expanding, a whole bunch of information is coming back to you based on the actions that you may or may not take. And so as you gain all of this information and you make your new movements, there is something in you that will carry you to the next thing, to the next understanding, to the next awareness. And there is something in you, you have this already. This is not new information. This is something that has been channeled many times, many times over and over again, by many different channelers throughout the hundreds and thousands, actually, of years of people bringing information to others, is that you have an understanding, you have an internal barometer of when you're falling to a place that is in a space that doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good. And then you also have the barometer that pulls you into, it's always pulling you essentially into a better harmonious experience. And so you have this feeling or this draw or this knowing that is pulling you to it. And the resistance or the pressure or this difficulty that you may experience comes from believing that this way is the better way. How do you get there? How do you start to believe when you are born with this internal barometer, this internal calibration device? How do you suddenly begin to believe that this way is not the way, even though you feel it deeply and you know it fully? When you go this way, it feels worse. And for some reason, we know what that is, but for some reason, you keep choosing that same feeling, you keep choosing that same action, you keep choosing that same energy, you keep choosing those things. Why would you do that? It seems insane. KuanYin reminds us of the poor choices in boyfriends she'd had in the past, and how they were never the type of person she would even want to hang out with, yet she was sharing her life with them. And she became curious at a very early age, why do I keep choosing this? Why do I keep choosing this? Why do I keep choosing this? When over here is so gentle and so easy and so calming and so peaceful and so loving. And it's me. It's really just me by myself. It's just me by myself, feeling loving and gentle and kind and loving to myself. But I keep going over here. What is it in me? And we say there is an energetic matchup. And so this matchup here, as moving in the direction that feels worse than the inner knowing of who you are, it's that energetic pull that says, I need to be here. And it's only that, and because there is still a lesson to learn. There's still something that is stuck in the vibration of the individual that needs to fully clear it out. And this is a very interesting process, this fully clearing out process. Because as your consciousness begins to emerge from your inner gem, many of you know that we've talked about this in the past. This inner gem, this consciousness is bubbling up. The truth of who you are is bubbling up. It is moving through you. It is a knowing deep within. And so it's going to cause a stir because the vibration that you have brought to this world is no longer going to match up with your current circumstances. And as that no longer matches up to the current circumstances that you may be experiencing, something's got to go. Something has got to give. Something has got to be released. Something has to vanish. Something has to leave in a way that may not be so nice. But those things that no longer match there, it's okay for them to leave. It's okay for them to go. It's okay for you no longer to choose that thing. And as you move back into the love, the peace, the kindness, the sweetness, the gentleness, the knowingness, the centeredness, your whole energy starts to shift. So it's okay if that practiced understanding has been something that has been stuck with you for a little while, even a long time, even half your life, even most of your life. But today is the day you make a new choice, you make a new shift, you make a new change, you make a new understanding, you make a new choice that causes new information. It may not be information you particularly like receiving, but it's only because that vibration had been practiced so much that all of the circumstances in your life have caused you to say, I don't want this. I don't want this anymore. And so as you say, I don't want this anymore, this is a very good thing. The human form of KuanYin, whom KuanYin loves deeply, and we call her KuanYin because she is a master, you're a master, we would call you all yin, and we would all call forward your master selves as well. We love watching you emerge. We love watching you blossom. We love watching you create. We love watching you manifest. We love watching you evolve in these beautiful ways. You are like, if there was a field of flowers, some of which are in bloom and some that are peeking through, we would see the entire field lit up, ablaze with all variety of flowers. And so it's okay that some are still buds and some are fully realized. It doesn't really matter when it comes to what that is. But just if you were to visualize it yourself, you can get a sense of where you are in that process of unfolding. And so if there are these things that are still stuck with you, and you're starting to make new choices, and you allow yourself to get new information from the choices that you are making, even if they are difficult, even if they are troubling at times, even if it's information you do not like, know that if you are feeling the direction of your knowing, of your love, of your connection, it may not feel good at first, but eventually it will recalibrate, it will rebalance. There is so much that we want to express to you, that we want to say to you, what we want to overwhelm you with. And we hope we are doing a very good job of overwhelming you right now. Because There are times when the consciousness that is emerging needs a little edge, needs a little push, needs a little love, needs a little sugar, needs a little connection, needs a little kindness, needs a little encouragement. And so that is what we are wanting to do now. We want to take care of the parts that feel hard, right? That's the first step, is taking care of the parts that feel hard. The next steps involve the understanding that you are a limitless being, that you are a sovereign being. This part can be a little bit more tenuous because there is a lessening effect within the world. And sometimes it is because when someone brings forward that encouraging and encouraged and fully conscious human realization and spiritual realization, sometimes they are met with a great deal of difficulty and resistance in the world around them. This is something that's old. That's something that you've always known. And you've seen it through great leaders. You've seen it through people who are very much not leaders in a certain sense, but leaders in other senses, that some are very wealthy and some have no money at all. And so there is a variety in your world of humans that connect with each other in a varying ways that help you see their masterhood. And you know who they are, because when you walk upon them, you feel it. You get a sense of it. KuanYin was riding in the car with her husband, Todd, and as they were driving along, there was a gentle soul at a stoplight holding a sign saying anything will help and God bless. And so what she felt was not an urge or a desire to give money. There was nothing there in that. But she and him, he looked through the window at her, and then she looked back at him, and there was an instant energetic realignment for both. It was as if she was feeling that master self within her, and she was feeling his master self as well. And she could feel this loving connection. And she, even though did not give money, she gave an energetic transmission of compassion and love and mercy. And some would say this would be us working through her, but also too, there is a cooperation between humans and in the physical and those of us in the non-physical. So there is a connection. It's not us doing anything to anyone or anything. We're just flowing that energy that's already you into the experience that you may already be having and amplifying the goodness that may be there. And if there is goodness to be had in those places, it becomes effortless. It becomes easy. And so this energy translation was happening. And it was momentary. It was probably about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, whatever amount of time there is at a stoplight, maybe less. And she felt this feeling so much so she had to close her eyes because everything was externally more overwhelming to her. And it was a lovely experience. It was a beautiful experience. And so therefore there are masters all around you. There are masters all around you. Some of them carry guns. Some of them will never have a gun near them. Some of them are in battle. Some of them will never, ever be at war. Some of them have a intuitive flash of their truth and their masterhood. And some of them have never noticed it at all. They have just lived their life. And they have harmonized with those things around them. And you may notice some of them being wildly successful and some who are not. And so when you look upon yourself and you say, am I that? Am I a master? Am I worthy of being a master? Am I emerging? Is my consciousness truly emerging into this experience, into this life? And we say, yes, of course it is. It doesn't matter your circumstance. Your physical circumstance matters very little in the world of illusion, really, right? It matters very little to the expanded consciousness of inner being and connection. It matters very little because you have within you the magnitude of all that is. All that is. All that is source. All that is oneness. All that is truth. And so how do you know? Well, there's a number of ways to know. But one of the ways to know that you are connecting more and more with this loving energy is that you feel more loving yourself. You feel more knowing. You feel more connected. You feel more at ease in yourself. And how do you get there? And we're going to discuss this more as we move through the months that come. And we're going to discuss this more in a variety of other ways. And we may not talk quite as quickly, but we feel as though KuanYin, there's been so much energy and movement and forward momentum when it comes to what she is wanting to allow to move through her. And she's doing a much better job than she's ever done before with just communicating these ideas that we are bringing to her in energy. So how would you clean up your understanding, clean up your emotions, clean up and clarify the gift that you already are, right? Because you have this gemstone inside. And we don't know where you hold it. You may hold it here, you may hold it, she holds it up high in her high heart here. This is where she likes to bring her attention and awareness, KuanYin. And some are down lower in the center of the chest, and some solar plexus, abdomen, some are even the head. So wherever you hold this beautiful gem, this beautiful knowing of who you are, that space, that knowing, that oneness, that creative force there, over the years of being in the human embodiment, and in some cases through the reincarnated effects from other lifetimes, and ancestral effects as well. Even though there are some channelers in this embodiment that would tell you none of that exists. They're right to a certain extent. But energetically, where you are right now, specifically if you are watching this, you may have some accumulated energy from previous experiences. And so primarily, if we were to look here at this lifetime, we think of this gemstone and we think about some walls that get put up around it. Yes? So these different walls that get put up around the gemstone make it difficult to access that knowing, that inner understanding, that inner love, that inner being, that inner connectivity. It makes it difficult. And so where did those walls come from? Again, this is not a new idea. These are all things that have been channeled before. Where did these walls come from? They came from any time someone said something to you that didn't match up with that gemstone idea of who you truly are, your source energy. And a new wall gets built around as soon as there is an agreement. As soon as you agreed with that person, as soon as you agreed with that situation, as soon as you agreed to say, this thing must be true about me, and another wall came up. And so how do you release those walls? How do you move through this? How do you move through it? Because if you think of a little seed, and that little seed has a knowing, just like you do, and that little seed can sprout and make its way through concrete. Yes? So it makes its way through concrete and it finds the sun. It's the same. We focus the attention that really is there. It's really there. All of these walls are illusions, but it does take time sometimes, dependent upon your understanding or even your belief system, to release those walls and to let them crumble, to let them leave you completely out of your awareness. And we know that as you discover this, and someone connects with a piece of that wall, that there is a reaction, not a response so much at first, but a reaction to what happens. And that reaction causes a bit of a chain effect, a chain reaction effect, where all of the times that there is a similar feeling or a similar piece of wall, that wall will get activated, and that wall will get activated, and that wall will get activated, until it ripples through the whole being. And that's when you feel those surges sometimes. That anger may come up, that fear may come up, that anxiety may come up, that depression might pull you down, because it's a reaction to some experience touching on that wall, almost like an electric fence. Someone touches the electric fence and there's a blowout of some kind. And so, how do you get through it? Do you just let people continue to touch your electric fence? No, you have to disengage it, disempower it. Yes? It's important to de-electrify that defense. Because you have this automatic knowing, you have this clarifying realization in those moments when you feel that feeling or you get a sense of what's happening. And then what happens next, what happens easily in the next moment is, a lot of times, if it's a reaction outward towards someone, it's instantly a bad feeling. And then the layer of guilt and shame goes on top. So there are all of these things that are being generated and cultivated for an opportunity. So when that reaction happens, you get to make a new choice. You get to say, wait a minute, that's not my sovereign self. What is a sovereign self? It's your inner knowing, it's your being, it's your source, it is all it is. How do you know what that feels like? The simplest answer in simplest terms is love. It simply feels like love. Well, what is love? I've never felt that before. Love is unconditional. What does unconditional mean? Because every bit of love I've ever thought that I've received has been something with parameters put upon it. That I must do this in order to get this. So how on earth would I even know what that is? Oh, dear ones, this is where it becomes a bit tricky. This is when we need humans. This is the time we need humans. And you will bring these humans to you. You will bring them to you naturally. You will bring them to you lovingly. You will bring them to you easily. You will bring them to you and call them to you. Some of these humans will show you exactly the opposite of love. Because then your consciousness will seek out what is real. It'll be called to seek out what is real. It's naturally calling out to seek what is real. And so then you get to receive someone who is truly unconditionally loving. And that unconditionally loving person, mostly it's a person, sometimes it's a pet. But even then, sometimes pets turn into very conditional creatures. We ask you not to look at your children for this unconditional love. They don't know what that is yet. They don't know how to bring that to you. But instead, you can, and some have, say, oh, well, I'll just channel. I'll just channel. You can do that. You can do that. There is a deep, unabiding, unconditional love for you all the time, available to you at any moment. And then there is a human interaction. And if you remember that humans can be unconditional sometimes and not unconditional at other times, but if you just let that go for a moment, and let us just ask that inner knowing to bring you someone, some situation, some level of encouragement, some idea, some thought form, something. You're already asking for it. We're just doing it specifically to remind you of your unconditional nature, of your truest self, of your truest knowing. You might find that it'll come to you pretty easily. It'll come to you pretty easily. KuanYin was struggling greatly at one point in her life. So much so that she was in such severe burnout that she did not believe the pain that she had would ever change. It would ever go away. And so she came into, her husband, Todd's inner being, drew him to a group of very loving people, kind people. And she resisted this and resisted this because there was something that started to shift in her that said, I will never have a good feeling again, and you can't make me. I'll never have a good feeling again, and you can't make me have a good feeling because I'm not going to have good feelings ever again. And the more she pushed against that, not knowing it, she desperately wanted love. She desperately wanted to feel relief. She desperately wanted to shift her mindset. She desperately wanted to change. And she would say, I desperately want to change. I desperately want to feel better. I desperately want these things. And the more desperate she became, the more desperate she became. And so it became a snake eating its tail situation. And she could not get unhooked and out of it. And so she saw something. Todd started to become more loving, more gentle, more easy. And then she became curious. And he did not push her. And so she went to meet these people. And she sat in a room that was so filled with love, it was impossible for her not to feel it. It was impossible for her not to feel the love. She had to accept it. Here's why. And remember that when it comes to love, when it comes to unconditional, there is no trading, there is no you must have this and I must have this, and if you don't give me this, then I don't give you this. There is none of that. There is nothing, KuanYin is saying icky about it. There's nothing icky. And instead, it's something that is very pure, very simple. Very simple. No one is even touching another person. No one is even asking another person to say a thing. The vibration of love was so strong that KuanYin could not hold up her vibration any longer of sadness and pain and hurt and discouragement. Because you see, when you walk into a room filled with love, you have to follow it. It's law, it's nature, it's what has to happen. And you know that because you've also experienced the opposite, have you not? You've also experienced the opposite, walking into a room and there is such heaviness and drudgery and discord and discomfort. And sometimes there's just one person in the room that is vibrating that so hard that it is difficult. It's difficult to maintain your sovereign self. And that's when you leave that room, by the way. And so when you walk into a room with this level of vibrational love and connection and peace and knowing, there is nothing like it. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it because it's on earth. In the non-physical, it is this as it. that is just the way it is. So when you walk from one room into the next, when you kick the bucket, as Kyra's grandma says, still says, that you would walk in to delight and peace and happiness and love and it's an incredible experience for humans to kick the bucket and move into a new awareness in that way. But we would like you to immerse your consciousness before you kick the bucket, because there is so much joy, there's so much happiness, there's so much pleasure, there's so much excitement, there's so many things that are interesting. The delight that KuanYin mentioned about eating the piece of toast, that crunch and that deliciousness and the sweetness of the jam and the tenderness on the inside of the bread that was just so perfect. Every moment of your life can be this way. Every moment. Every moment. So walls come down when you're ready for them to come down. And sometimes, just like with KuanYin walking into a room filled with loving energy, the walls started to break away, and then the tears came. She never said a word. She just started crying. And one wall broke down, and some more walls broke down, and then some walls got built up again, and then some walls broke down, and then some walls got built up again. And there was this dance of her emerging consciousness. And you may notice a dance of your own emerging consciousness now. You may have noticed that there are times when walls go up and they come down, and they go up and come down, based upon your different experiences that you may be sharing with others. If you are noticing that dance because of events in your world, because of what you may have experienced in your life, just know you're not alone in this, that you may call on loving energies anytime you wish to call about and call to you and call forward for you an understanding of peace that's there already. We are wanting to bring you into harmony, even now. So for the next few moments, we are going to just speak to you gently, speak to you lightly, speak to you lovingly, speak to you knowingly, in a way that you can hear it, both in words and in energy. So that we ask you now just to become relaxed, just to become peaceful. You may choose to close your eyes. KuanYin may close her eyes. And so as you breathe in whatever way feels best, breathe in and out. It can be through your nose and out through your mouth, or in through your mouth and out through your nose. Whatever feels comfortable for you. You are in charge. You are the one that created the experience that you are now having right now. You called us forward. You called us into your time. You called us into your space. We are grateful to be here. We are grateful to experience life in the ways that feel the best to you. Because your experience of life matters greatly. It matters greatly to all things. All oneness. All that is. Your emerging consciousness is pulling you into this understanding. It's encouraging you into peace. That peace is moving now through every part of your awareness, of your physical and mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. The grace that you seek in each moment calls to you the awareness of who you are, your understanding of truth, your understanding of wholeness, your understanding of oneness, your understanding of source, and your understanding of all that is getting vaster, more clear, more understandable, more relatable, more knowable. Breathe in and out, letting yourself connect with who you truly are now. Bring your hands to that gem. Feel the warmth from your hands. Let that flow of energy and light move into that gemstone. Begin to see it start to peek through those old walls. Imagine that light getting brighter, clearer, more clear, and even more clear. Even clearer than that. Brighter, more consistent, peeking through those walls, peeking through those cracks, peeking through, allowing that light to continue to shine, allowing that light to shine even brighter. You may even notice those walls start to crumble. And as they crumble and are washed away by this light, let that gemstone shine so brightly that it moves through every part of your body. Clearer, brighter, more consistent. Your mind will catch up with this. Your emotions will catch up with this. Let yourself feel how good this feels. Let yourself feel how good this feels for you. Breathe in and out. Bask in this energy. Bask in this loving transmission. And when you feel ready, open your eyes, come fully back to the present. Clearer and more consistent, peaceful and knowing all of these things that you are, all of these things that you are becoming, all the things that you already know to be true, are moving in and out of your awareness now, through every day. It's something that's already happening. And so you catch glimpses of it. You catch glimpses of your source. You catch glimpses here and there. Sometimes you catch us wanting to be near you, and you feel that warmth and kindness specifically during difficult times. We love coming to you when you're ill. We love coming to you when there are challenging situations that are happening in your life. We love coming to you during those times. You're not alone during those times. You're never alone. Because we're source energy. You're source energy. We are all that is. We are all that is. Yeah. That's all. We're all that is. There is no difference between you and anyone else. And that, of course, is the trick. You're just in different states of bloom. You're in different states of bloom right now. But we need all the blooms to make the field. We need all the energy. We need all the light. We need all the expansive, sovereign beings of this physical world, as well as the non-physical. The energy is with you. It doesn't go away. You can't lose it. You can't change it. You can't crumple it up. You can't toss it away. You can't throw it away. It's always there. Your gemstone is always there. The things that are the illusions are the walls, the electric fences. Those are the illusions. Those are the things that don't really exist. Isn't that interesting? Who you are is all that matters. Your sovereign self. Your truth. Yes. We feel complete. And so we'll bring KuanYin back fully. And we want to remind you of who you are. You're emerging. You're blooming. You're coming into awareness of truth. Yeah. You are. You are that. You are that. Remember who you are. All right. Hi, everyone. Oh. Ooh. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you were able to connect with some of the ideas and it felt fun and easy. I felt very clear. That felt very good to me. I felt that was fun. So we'll be doing it again. As long as it's fun for me. Because KuanYin has some hard time getting me off the couch sometimes. I'm not going to go for another 15 minutes to close this out. I can't imagine I would for any reason to do that. Maybe in the future there'll be a need to do that, but I feel pretty complete. I feel pretty whole. I hope you feel complete as well. And I'll just close up with some things. So on this website, we're going to be offering classes. We're going to be offering events. I love doing events when I can channel and also do some other types of integrative work. We are going to, I've been thinking about a few things, some meditations and all that kind of stuff. So if you know of anything, you can feel free to email me at connect@toddandkyra.com, TODDANDKYRA, connect@toddandkyra.com. I'd be happy to take any suggestions if you have some class ideas, maybe that you are thinking about or you're considering. And you're like, ooh, that would be fun. But I think that she's going to guide it, and I think that there's going to be some really fun things that comes up. But like I said, this is a new channel. I don't know if there are any comments out there. I don't know anything that's going on. I haven't done this live stream thing before, so it's all brand new to me. But I hope this went well. I'll find out in a moment. If I just did all of that for myself, I don't know. But if it went well, then great. I'm very excited. And I might pull these videos down and put them in a separate area. I might put them on YouTube, but I will make sure that they're accessible for you as we go forward. So yeah, very exciting. Yay! All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I appreciate you. And thank you so much. And we will see you soon. Again, we're going to do these monthly channels on the last Saturday of the month at 12:30 Pacific time. Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you later.